And then I think it was developed big time in like 86, 87. They really started to do the golf course. And I think that golf course was designed by Jack Nicklaus.
Yes, Sherwood.
Sherwood,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was done. Was it redone or just? It's still a Nicklaus course, but Tiger Woods has some sort of
some kind of whammy
association with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was totally different back there.
I mean, huge stars. There was John Wayne Ranch, Oprah back there, Ellen DeGeneres, a whole bunch
Eve Arden, way back, Alan Ladd.
Yeah, that's right.
Dean Martin had the place that Selleck owns now. He had that place for quite a while. In fact, he had shot a Christmas special back there many years ago. I've tried to see if I can bring it up on YouTube, but I can't find it.
Oh, geez, it's rare you can't find something on
YouTube. I know,
exactly.
Exactly. There used to be a little church back there that was, really, maybe it held 100 people. But I think they ended up, tearing it down. And I think someone bought it, made an equestrian.
So what would have the trails been like? Like, if you wanted to go hike to Boney, back when you were a kid, was the trail system there?
No, you would just have to, make your way through. You just have to
find your way?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of the trails that were going around were motorcycle trails. The motorcycles just, would, inherently make a trail.
Yeah.
But I never went past, like, Potrero. Everything I did, because I had free range. Look out my backyard. Like my mom said, she always knew where I was and my friends were because she'd just look out the back door. Because you could just look up in the mountains and the hills and you could see us.
Right.
But I never made that trip over to the beach. It just never intrigued me.
Yeah, I wonder what would have come first. I bet it was probably pretty soon on that they cut that trail down through the canyon to the beach because that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. But some of those other ones are way tougher. Like getting up to the top of Boney is actually not an easy hike.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
I went to Peru last year, and I like to go do like big hiking trips, and did I think it was about 70 miles or something like that through the Andes. And I got back, and I was in great shape and just like super buzzed on hiking. And so I think it was like 2 weeks after I got back, it would have been like June of last year. My buddy came up, and we just walked out the front door of the house here and walked to the top of Boney and back. It was like 16 and a half miles round trip. And I remember thinking, oh, well, this is going to be easy. I just, hiked through the Andes at, 15,000 feet elevation, and I've hiked up to 17,000 feet and all this. And nope, it was just as tough, if not tougher, because the trail's rugged. And the last like 2 miles of it getting up to the top, there's like a whole section of maybe like a mile or so where the trail's like 4 feet cut into the earth from the run. It's basically just a water runoff, and that's your trail. And so you're walking in that, and the brush is overgrown and it's low. So not only do you have to walk in this like very narrow, kind of treacherous washout path with all kinds of loose rocks in it and stuff like that, but the brush is overgrown, so you have to duck down. You really only have about maybe 5 feet of clearance. So like you're stooped over, hiking uphill the whole time. It's exhausting. Right.
Yeah, that's something I would never. I'll enjoy a picture of it if you can show me a picture of what it looks like at the top.
Oh, it's real great. We got there and it was a super clear day. You could see out to the Channel Islands.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a panorama. You can see south all the way down the chain because it's the highest point around, And, we went all the way up to the top and sat there for a little while. And then, I was looking on my map on my phone, and I'm like, oh, it looks like there's a trailhead here that should take us down, basically the north face of the mountain. And so if you're looking at it and you see that little kind of lip that hangs out there that people can hang out on, it kind of, if you look left of that, there's kind of looks like you can kind of just scale all the way down. And we tried to find our way down that. The trail is like almost non-existent. But we were already halfway down it and realizing how tough it was. And so that was kind of it was a little harrowing trying to get down there. You're like literally like holding off of branches and like jumping down off of little,
Were other people doing it?
No, there was no one there. So that's why I was just like, okay, there's a reason why nobody does this,
Right.
But we did it and we completed it, but I wouldn't go that way again. Yeah.
I guess you can go up to the top and go down the other side of it, right?
Oh yeah, you can. Once you get up there, there's a bunch of different trailheads.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you can. That at the top there, it's basically along this whole long trail. You can basically go all the way back to. I think you can go all the way to where like the 405 is.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and it's like there's one I saw in there. The trail says it's like multi-day trek, and it was like 85 miles or something like that, and it's to take you all the way over towards like to Griffith Park or something like that, or further. If it's 85 miles, it's got to be further. But yeah, it was pretty wild to see that. But
yeah, it's a view that I woke up to for probably 14 years. Just every morning, wake up, look out, and see that.
Jeez, that's pretty.
And it's funny because I have relatives that come. I have relatives from Pennsylvania too. They come out and they just say they can't get enough of looking at that. Even though there's some beautiful mountain ranges in Pennsylvania, but
it's not like here.
It's not like here.
Yeah, the mountains in Pennsylvania are the foothills here.
Right.
Yeah, and you're not going to get anything as like craggly and exposed looking as around here. Everything's just Appalachians are such a old. I think they're the oldest mountain range on the planet, or something. The oldest exposed mountain range on the planet. So,
right.
Yeah, they're like billions of years old or something like that. Whereas, the Rockies are still technically getting higher, I believe. So, I used to be very into knowing which ranges were moving up and which ones were crumbling down.
Right.
But
well, that was one of our prerequisites when we moved back. When we bought here, was we were looking for a house that had a view of Boney.
Yeah.
Hard to come by, especially when you're looking for a specific home, like a single story. You really cut, because land was. There's a lot of single stories in the older parts of Newbury Park, but then when the developers realized just how valuable the land is, they started building a lot of 2 stories because you can get more.
Right.
You can get more homes.
Yeah.
Because you take up less square footage of land. So it was hard to find. So anytime I drive up Windy, I figure I got my view.
Yeah. That view coming over the hill is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it every
phenomenal.
time. I've heard all kinds of people tell me all sorts of random stories about the Satwewan Indians in the reservation. Or one person's telling me that there's still a few that live in the area that kind of roam the
Chumash.
People telling me stories of trying to like rogue camp at the top of Boney and having some Native American guy come over and do some dance and scare the hell out of them in the middle of the night or something like that.
Funny. Well, up in Deer Ridge where we moved from to come here, there was a lot that they couldn't build on, and I looked into it. It is an Indian burial ground.
Oh wow!
And once a year they come and they do a ceremony.
Wow.
Because it is sacred ground. In fact, when they were building Deer Ridge, they had to pull off because they did start running into artifacts.
Wow. So set me straight. I ignorantly said Satwewan.
It's Chumash.
But it's Chumash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does Satwewa come from then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if it maybe was a faction of them. I don't know. But the Chumash were the predominant, from what I understand, what I've learned. The Chumash Nation.
Really? Okay. Well, lucky Wikipedia here. The Satwewa, Chumash means the bluffs, so hence Boney Mountain. Huh?
Okay.
Was a former Chumash village in the Santa Monica Mountains of Newbury Park, California. The current Satwewa Native American Indian Cultural Center is operated by the National Park Service, and that area, Satwewa, had been inhabited by Chumash Indians for over 10,000 years, and it's situated at the foothills of Boney Mountain, the sacred mountain for the Chumash. Interesting.
Yeah, years. I mean, when I was a kid, some of the guys would be lucky enough to find some artifacts when they'd be hiking.
Oh yeah, you see like arrowheads,
Yeah,
and things like that.
and balls. And you see every once in a while, I'll come across somebody that has got it as a door, holding their door open. It's a half of a old Chumash bowl. It's funny because I'm in construction. I sometimes go to people's homes because they want to do something.
Right.
And there was a house here in Newbury Park where they had some Chumash artifacts that were found. I mean, they were original owners. It was also kind of cool because they had mountain lion paw prints that they had found that they made casts of and
that's
actually
cool.
incorporated in their wall.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That would be. I would do something like that. If I had that and it was like in a nice, good piece of dried earth, I'd totally cut that out and take it back home.
It was pretty cool.
Me.
When I lived up there, one time I did see a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Come up because of my property backed up to Potrero.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so we had a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. So you were at like end of the line there.
Yes.
Growing up. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you head towards Channel Island University there, Cal State, you go there and you make a right, and there's like a little neighborhood of homes, a little community of maybe like a dozen homes, kind of goes up a little hill, and I forget the name of it's. But every house on that hill has a view of Boney. They're amazing, yeah. And they've been there a long time. Patient of mine, her parents own a house there, and it was I got to see just from the front porch, the wraparound porch, and you're just looking at Boney.
Oh yeah, I know.
Amazing.
It's basically just about a quarter mile after you turn off of Reno. On the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Those
might have been called like American something? Or
Yeah.
I forget,
those are,
but
I believe, are custom houses.
Yeah, they all look
every one
unique.
of them are situated to where you get a massive view of Boney.
Yeah. Lucky people there that they bought a really nice spot, and that's really super pretty. And they're all those houses look super nice. So lucky. Yeah, that's the one thing I wish I had is a view of Boney, but I'm very happy.
Yeah, well, you got here at the right time too.
Yeah.
It's funny when I was talking to my mom the other day, and I couldn't remember exactly what they paid for their house, but back in '67, I think they paid $22,500.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Jeez, you can't even get like a decent new car for that.
I know, exactly.
That's wild.
And I think the higher end ones, in Thousand Oaks, they were looking at another house. I'm glad they didn't get it, but it was over in Wildwood, which was at the time out of their price range was about $31. And those things are now, they're off the chart.
The only other place when we were looking out here, we looked at probably about 30 or so houses, but the only other one that we really made a strong go at was there's this neighborhood on the right when you're driving up to Los Robles, and it says something Homes, a specific builder.
Eichler.
Yeah.
Eichler Home.
Yeah, Eichler Home. It's kind of a craftsman style, Art Deco,
right.
mid-century looking spot.
He was a very well-known architect.
And it was it was like the last house in the development. Basically, the retaining wall, you looked over it and you were looking across the street to Los Robles Hospital.
Oh.
So it was like on the corner of like Jan's and Lynn, I guess that would be going up the hill there, right? And we bonded and almost got our offer accepted because the guy who had the house was from Scranton and from where I went to high school, and like. He was actually from like the part of Scranton that my dad grew up in, and we knew I started mentioning like places my dad used to take me, like diners and barbers and stuff like that, and he just lit up, Excuse me. And that almost worked out. Sometimes those bonds will facilitate a deal, right?
Absolutely.
But not quite. And I'm happy it didn't, because that would have been a very loud corner to live on, and a lot of ambulances.
Tough corner.
Yeah, that would have been real tough.
You did well. You did well getting here.
Yes. Yeah, this is great.
Works out for us, too.
Yeah,
as
right.
neighbors,
Right,
with
totally.
the COVID jam and
Yeah.
having you as a good neighbor. Yeah, it's perfect.
I'm glad you love the jam. I'm glad the neighborhood loves it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's changed. Yeah, again, I've been here for so long. I've never seen a neighborhood come together